At that moment, the system's cold notification echoed, as if annotating this grim feast of mortality. Global announcement. Congratulations to all survivors. You have successfully endured the first day. This is a selection process. Last night eliminated those fools who were unaware of the need to fuel the campfire, unwilling to gather wood. Remember, tears hold no currency here. Death is final. Those of you who remain are fortunate. Welfare announcement. A 5-day novice support period will commence. During these 5 days, the initial supply box will refresh with a daily quota of food. Special reward. Each survivor will receive a pair of standard snow boots, common. Please express gratitude for this mercy, and may you enjoy the game. Jiang Li gazed at the text, a chill rising within her. What fools? What mercy? The system's tone dripped with condescension. Starting with 5 hours of fuel and an initial allocation of 5 units of wood, 5 hours. If one fails to gather resources or chop wood, survival is limited to a mere 10 hours. In other words, those who harbored false hopes or were paralyzed by fear had already succumbed to the cold the moment the flames extinguished last night. 5,000 souls in a single day. This was no game. It was a massacre. In the channel, those who had survived were evidently shaken by the grim statistic. How terrifying. My friend's avatar suddenly disappeared last night. Was it death? I don't want to play anymore. I want to go home. I shall never again be lazy. Today, I will chop wood. Everyone, let us get moving. Don't conserve your strength. If you die, you lose everything. Panic spread. But soon this sentiment was supplanted by a peculiar wave of accusations. If that spicy chicken burger had been more generous with the wood, would so many have perished? Indeed. Since she had ample wood, why not share a bit? Why demand a trade? Even lending some would suffice. It is all the fault of such selfish individuals, hoarding resources while others freeze to death. Remember this ID. Do not trade with her in the future. Jiang Li furrowed her brow, encountering this rhetoric once more. Who was orchestrating this narrative? With a casual flick, she scrolled up and, as expected, encountered the familiar ID, Invincible Warlord. He was the most vociferous in the channel. I see she wishes to profit from others' misfortunes. Such a woman possesses the most venomous heart. Hoarding resources while watching others perish in the cold. Just wait. Such people do not last long. Jiang Li let out a cold laugh. Moral coercion? If you desire wood, chop it yourself. I am neither your father nor your mother. No matter how much you shout, no one will hand you wood. Rather, spend that time wielding your axe a few more times. Jiang Li's unexpected remark left the people in the channel momentarily stunned, yet the majority remained composed. Indeed, as the Chicken Leg Fortress pointed out, if one lacks resources, one must strive harder. What merit is there in moral coercion? Exactly. Just because someone remains silent does not imply they possess a good temperament. In a world where survival demands every ounce of effort, the notion of relying on the charity of others is utterly laughable. She had no desire to waste energy in pointless arguments. With such individuals, the more you engage, the more emboldened they become. It would be best for them to pray never to cross paths with her again. After replying briefly, Jiang Li shut down the channel and turned her gaze towards the large wooden crate at the initial resource point. Indeed, the crate had refreshed with new items. Mineral water X3, white bread X3, freshly squeezed juice, orange flavor, X1, standard snow boots X1. To her surprise, there was even juice. Jiang Li picked up the glass bottle, the orange-yellow liquid uplifting her spirits somewhat. Supplementing vitamins is crucial for survival. She quickly donned the sturdy snow boots. Although somewhat cumbersome, they were slip-resistant and warm, effectively banishing the damp coldness that seeped through her feet in the snow. Next, she opened her toolbox, donned windproof goggles and thick, cut-resistant gloves. Fully equipped for work, Jiang Li was undeterred by the comments in the channel. She was acutely aware that a more important task awaited her today, upgrading the shelter. With a handsaw in hand, she ventured once more into the small grove. Perhaps due to the low temperatures, the auxiliary batteries had diminished in efficacy, as they wore out far too quickly. After felling merely 8 trees, the final battery succumbed to exhaustion. It was over. Jiang Li gazed at the heavy chainsaw in her hand and shook her head in resignation. Without power, it was nothing more than a hunk of metal. To continue her lumbering endeavors, she would have to resort to an axe or the manual handsaw from her toolbox to grapple with the resilient frozen wood. Nonetheless, with the 8 trees felled, her wood supply had become quite substantial. First, she needed to transport these back. Gritting her teeth, Jiang Li stowed the chainsaw in her backpack and began the laborious task of hauling. Her condition today was markedly inferior to yesterday. An all-consuming fatigue rendered each step a struggle for breath. She could only drag one piece at a time. Pull 1, rest for 2 minutes. The cold wind howled in her ears as she mechanically repeated the motions. By midday, when the final log was dragged into the firelight and transformed into radiant energy by the system, Jiang Li nearly collapsed onto the snow. Acquired. Wood X40, she gasped for air, glancing at the numbers in her backpack, and a weary but contented smile finally crept onto her lips. She had enough wood. Coupled with the coal and steel acquired through trade yesterday, all the materials required for the upgrade were now gathered. Struggling to rise, Jiang Li made her way to the campfire. The translucent floating panel displayed the alluring golden glow of the upgrade button. Would you like to upgrade the basic shelter to level 2? Consumption: wood X50, stone X20, coal X10, scrap, steel X5. Remaining after upgrade: wood X16, stone X3, coal X0, steel X0. Upgrade. Jiang Li took a deep breath and pressed down heavily. Buzz. A brilliant white light erupted from the center of the campfire, instantly enveloping everything around. Jiang Li instinctively closed his eyes. There was no earth-shattering noise, only a sound reminiscent of blocks being assembled. Moments later, the light dissipated. Jiang Li slowly opened his eyes, momentarily stunned. The once solitary campfire had undergone a remarkable transformation. The haphazardly piled fire pit was now neatly arranged, with an additional stone platform surrounding it for insulation and storage, and even a simple metal grill nearby. More astonishingly, the heat wave that previously dispelled the snow within a 2-meter radius had now expanded to 5 meters. Within this circle, the snow was visibly melting, revealing the dark brown frozen ground beneath, with a few resilient mosses peeking through in the corners. But that was not the main point. Zhongli abruptly turned his head to look behind the large wooden chest. A uniquely shaped triangular wooden cabin stood quietly there. The cabin was modest, about 4 square meters, constructed entirely of logs. Although lacking exquisite decoration, it sturdily shielded against all wind and snow. Zhongli hurried over and pushed open the heavy wooden door. A wave of even warmer air greeted him. The interior was simple, a wooden bed covered with hay, a rough workbench, a chair, and a small fireplace connected to an outside chimney. Though rudimentary, at this moment, it felt like paradise. The all-wooden structure had a distinct charm. This was home. Zhongli caressed the rough wooden walls, his eyes slightly moistening. Finally, he no longer had to sleep in the wilderness. No longer had to worry about freezing to death in his sleep. Just then, an announcement echoed throughout the server once again, this time in golden font, exploding directly in the center of everyone's vision. Server announcement. Congratulations to players Spicy Chicken Leg Burger for being the first to achieve a level 2 shelter. Rewards have been distributed. This line of text reignited the previously fearful chat channel into a flurry of activity. What? Level 2? What buildings are unlocked at level 2? Can someone show me? Is this the big shot selling wood? This is incredible. Please take me along. Chicken Leg Burger. I want to be your accessory. I can warm your bed. Worship the big shot. Can you share your experience? How did you gather so many materials so quickly? Countless praises and requests flooded the screen. Yet, there were always a few discordant voices mixed in, and even through the screen, one could sense the bitterness. Invincible War God. Huh, what's so impressive about that? Isn't it just sucking the blood of everyone else? If she had shared the wood she sold with others, would so many have died? Doesn't this achievement burn in her hands? The gods favor me. Exactly, stepping up on the corpses of others. Such people will eventually face retribution. Zhongli gazed at the disparaging comments, her fists instinctively clenching. If that invincible war god were to stand before her at this moment, she would undoubtedly strike him without hesitation. Such individuals are akin to rats in a sewer, incapable of achieving anything themselves, yet unable to tolerate the success of others. Besides these trolls, the private chat channels were ablaze with activity, initially intended solely for trading. It seemed that the server-wide announcement prompted many to send her unsolicited messages through trade notes. Beautiful lady, I'm a fitness coach with a magnificent physique. Care to see my photo? Just provide me with some wood, and I can accompany you in voice chat. One man even lifted his shirt to reveal his sculpted abs. Zhongli critically glanced at the image before promptly dismissing it. While the abs were commendable, the sycophantic expression was utterly repugnant. A man of such strength would do better to fell a few more trees. It is also possible that her failure to disclose her gender led many to assume that her ability to gather so much wood in a day suggested she was a robust man. Additionally, some women sent her selfies in an attempt to entice her. Regardless of gender, there was no shortage of these audacious individuals. However, judging by their backgrounds, it seemed that each person resided in a different area, with the only commonality being the presence of nearby forests, perhaps a new player benefit arranged by the system. A gathering of lunatics. With a stoic expression, Zhongli promptly altered her private chat settings to receive messages only from friends, and added a note in the trading hall, serious inquiries only. Those who send spam will be blocked without hesitation. At last, the world fell silent. She took a deep breath, filtering out the cacophony, and redirected her focus to her recent accomplishments. Server's first upgrade reward. Zhongli opened her backpack, where a gift box emanating a mysterious purple glow lay quietly. Chapter 5. The Pioneer S Bracers. Upon returning to her cozy wooden cabin, Zhongli placed her hand upon the enigmatic box radiating purple light. With a mere thought, the box slowly opened amidst a swirl of luminescence, revealing a cascade of item information that danced across her retina. Acquired. Wood X30. Acquired. Stone X20. Acquired. Coal X5. Acquired. Scrap Iron X5. This influx of basic resources was remarkably timely. As her recent upgrade of the shelter had nearly depleted her supplies, it felt as though some vitality had been restored. Next came the food. Acquired. Self-heating rice. Braised beef X5. To her astonishment, it was this delightful item. Zhongli's eyes sparkled as she held the hefty boxes of self-heating rice. Had this been before her transmigration, she would have dismissed such instant rice, which tasted akin to plastic. Yet after 2 days of gnawing on hard bread and sipping tepid water, this was nothing short of a Michelin 3-star delicacy. The thought of steaming rice paired with the savory sauce was enough to make her mouth water. Tonight's feast would be a joyous occasion. Zhongli happily tucked them away, knowing the rewards were far from over. Acquired. Coarse Cotton X5. Acquired. Pure Kerosene X3. Acquired. Snow Token X100. The cotton and kerosene are evidently strategic resources, perfectly complementing the crafting blueprint previously obtained. As for this snow token, the system provided no explanation. Zhongli toyed with the icy blue coin, embossed with snowflake patterns, feeling its chilling touch. It is likely intended for future transactions within the game store or with special NPCs, she speculated. Finally, she received a piece of equipment radiating a faint green light. Acquired. Pioneer S Wristband. Excellent green. Slot. Wrist. Attributes. Strength 3. Special effect. Lumberjack Mastery. Efficiency increased by 20 when using lumber tools. Stamina consumption reduced by 10. Description. This is a reward for the first to dare challenge the Stormbringer. A true warrior must possess not only